Hi and welcome to my Art Pixie. Today I just wanted to do a little chat with you guys and catch you up on some of the things that I have been up to. So if you are new here, welcome. My name is Maria and I am behind my Art Pixie. I love being in this space so that I can help other artists discover, play, and grow in their art practice. So if that's you, stick around and let's just have a chat. So at the beginning of this year, I wanted to approach it differently than I had in the past. And really what that meant was getting to the root of what I'd really like to do with my art. And I took a lot of time to think about this, and I even paused, I would say, on just the regular kind of stuff that I was putting out. And I really thought about what do I want to do? What brings me joy? And surely it would bring other people joy as well. Just as a result, if there's something that I have discovered that brings me joy, I definitely want to share it with other people so that they can have equally the same amount of joy, if not more. And that really focuses on watercolor and junk journals and just being playful with your art and, not always taking yourself so seriously, but really just trying to experiment and try new things and have fun along the way. So that was one thing that I really wanted to focus on. The other thing was to focus on oil painting. I learned how to oil paint a little bit in high school, but I really learned more of like the techniques and how to clean your brushes and all of those things in college. And so in college, of course, at the university that I went to, we had an oil painting class. And when I think back about what all I learned in that class, I really truly think that it was valuable information and I learned a lot. But I stepped away from that thinking I probably will never do oil again. I had young children. I didn't want to expose them to any of the toxic solvents or anything like that. So I stuck with pen and ink, watercolor, and then later I really started to dive into mixed media and all of those things. And I enjoyed it. I have enjoyed it for years. But this, when was that? I think it was around Christmas that I decided that I wanted to take my canvas pieces further, that I wanted to explore oil again. I had seen several people mix their oil with their mixed media, and I just thought, yes, please, like, that's what I want to do. And I've got to figure out how to do this. And of course, I could have watched tons of videos and, learned that way, but I decided I would sign up for a program to help me get back into oil painting and to really understand how to apply it properly and all the things. So in February, actually it was the end of January, beginning of February, I signed up for the Milan Art Institute. And I decided that I was going to just jump into it and learn all the things about oil again. And they also teach drawing as well. And if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you know that I love to draw. I draw all the time. I have sketchbooks filled with drawings. And I love pen and ink. So you can go back and you can check out all of my Inktober videos. I did Inktober for 6 years straight. Look, I'll show you. These are all my Inktober's. Let's see. I started in 2018. This was my Inktober 2018. Can you see that? Oh, I have it on cinematic. Let me switch it over. There we go. Now you should be able to read it. So Inktober 2018. So I started with fish bowls. And that was the first year. That was 2018. And I decided to do this because I was so overwhelmed with the things that were going on in my life at that time. And I needed therapy, really, honestly, truly. And this was part of that, to be able to draw for 31 days straight, and I had something to focus on, and it gave me so much joy. So I did that. So then the next year I did travel, and I have all of these videos if you want to go check them out, but here is my travel. This is in German, if you're familiar with the German language. There's another one. So then I did that one. And then the next year, what would that be? 2020. Yeah, oh, the ever-loved 2020. So I did fairy houses. So there's a couple more. Oh my gosh, this was probably one of my favorite years. So fun. So I did that. And then in 2021, I did dream catchers. And so here's an example. The dream catchers. There's just tons of them, tons and tons of dream catchers. And then, let's see, that was 21. Then I did 22. And why am I showing you all of this? Because I just wanted to show you that your girl loves to draw. And so I did this whole one is on, is Zentangle. Love that one. Oh yeah, this one. That one was so fun. I actually went to the woods and I do that one. So anyway, that was that one. And then 2023. 2023 was the last year that I did Inktober. I took last year off. I took 2024 off because of that, of just what I was talking about in the beginning of the video, about how I just needed to pivot. I just needed to change some things. But before that was 2023 and I did barns. So this whole thing is full of, it's barn after barn after barn. And then what I did with those is I turned them all into coloring books and I sold the coloring books. So every year I would have, I would go through October, do all of the drawings, and then in November I would launch or pre-launch my coloring book, and then I would get, you know, those pre-launch sales, and then people would have them for Christmas to, you know, give as gifts during Christmas. And I just wanted to see if I had one here. So here's the Zentangle one. You can see, so I've got all of them here. And then on this side, I put the Instagram because if you are aware, when you do Inktober, the tradition is that you also put it up on Instagram so that other people that are doing Inktober can also do it along with you. So if you want to go back and you want to experience that season of my life, I documented most of it. I don't think that I did the first 2 years, but I think I did the last 4 years on YouTube. But then you can see the making of the coloring book and all of that. So I had an end goal. The end goal was the coloring book. And so that really motivated me and helped me to get through Inktober as well. So if you're thinking about doing Inktober, that is a great motivation if you know that you're going to turn that into something. And I knew that I was going to turn that into a coloring book. I also made some stickers with it as well. Let's get back to the drawing from Milan Art. So I was super pumped and excited about doing the oil, but I was like, but I already know how to draw. And there were so many hours of drawing that I did in college, like literally hours and hours of drawing. If you've been to university, if you've been to college, then you know that that's how it is. Like literally drawing for 3 hours straight. And I would say I have a natural bent towards drawing anyway, but it really helped me hone in on my skill as I took those classes. And then I've just continued to draw since college, and I've been out of college for many, many, many years. So all of that drawing and, just perfecting that skill, not perfecting, getting better at that skill. I still have so much to learn. Okay, so that's the point. So when I went into the Milan Institute and I decided that I was going to do this, I knew that there would be drawing involved. And I honestly, there was this part of me inside that was like, I don't need the drawing part, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And let me just tell you something. I learned so much. I think that there is something in the core of me that loves to learn. I love to learn. I love to soak up whatever I can that is in front of me. So I went into it with an open mind, thinking, okay, I know that there will be things that I can learn. I know that there can be. And boy, was there. I've learned so much, and I rekindled the love for oil painting. I have discovered that there are safe solvents so that you don't have the toxic solvents in your home. And I also put an air purifier in my home just to help, just in case, like just to be safe, right? If I'm going to be oil painting in my home studio, I want it to be a safe place, not just for me as I'm working, but also for my family. And so that kind of helps with any, extra fumes or anything that may be a problem. But like they even have a solvent that is made out of orange peel now. They didn't have that 27 years ago. They didn't have that. And so it's just come such a long way. And how exciting is that? I mean, really, I think that we're in a time in our lives that I think things are readily available to us now that weren't before. And that the technology and the chemistry in this situation, it's just come such a long way. It's amazing that they can take orange peel and now make a safer solvent and solution for those who want to oil paint and keep it safe. I did a video about the DIY easel. I knew that the space that I had in here was quote unquote limited, although I'm very thankful for the space that I have. I think it works. But as you can see, I built this, I put it up on my wall, and I got started with the Milan Art Institute. And it has been 3 months, and it has already whoa, didn't think I was gonna get emotional. It's already changed my life in that the skills that I have been able to learn, it's blown my mind, okay? Just blown my mind. So I'll share some of the clips with you so that you can kind of see the different projects that I was working on. And again, this is oil painting and drawing at the same time. I'm not going to talk about every assignment, but I will tell you the top 5 things that I learned about myself in the last 3 months through Milan Art. The first thing I learned about myself was that I needed to trust the process. Trusting the process as an artist means showing up to create even when the outcome isn't clear and the piece might feel messy or that doubt creeps in. However, for me, believing that growth and clarity would come in the end kept me creating, kept me going. I had to let go of perfection, embrace the mistakes as part of the journey, and a lot of mistakes happened. And knowing that the process happens one lesson at a time. Learning the lessons was kind of like walking in fog. I couldn't see the end, but I just kept moving forward in faith that it would all reveal itself. And I learned in assignment by assignment to keep going and have an open mind. Trusting the steps that I was learning would help me towards a good outcome. But at the same time, this wasn't always easy, and that's where resistance comes to play. For an artist, resistance is often referred to that inner force that shows up when we're just about to create something amazing, but instead it's not flowing, you hesitate, maybe procrastinate, and you feel that self-doubt kind of creep in. So for me, that was maybe avoiding an assignment or thinking that I wasn't good enough to complete an assignment, feeling afraid of what others might think. Stephen Pressfield in The War of Art describes resistance as the invisible enemy that tries to stop us from doing creative work, especially the work that matters the most to our growth. And that was huge for me when I read that. And there were several assignments that were super hard. And I came to a point when I felt like stopping, that I didn't necessarily want to quit. I just needed to stop, right? And step away from that painting for a while. I persisted through, and it definitely helped that I was eager to learn. I was eager to move on to the next assignment, but I did face resistance. But there was something that I told myself, it's okay to take a break. And that is point number 3. I learned that taking a break as an artist was okay. And this means stepping away from creating. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to give up, right? This just means that you're going to give your mind, your heart, and your hands space to rest, reset, and refuel. So for me, this was pausing on a project that I felt stuck on, and maybe coming back to it the next day. Filling my time with rest, maybe reading a good book or taking a walk. Or simply allowing myself to just be and not give myself the pressure that I have to produce something. So these gentle reminders of rest for me was part of the creative cycle. And it should be part of the creative cycle for all of us. It's not a disruption of it. Breaks are built into each lesson from the Milan Art Institute. And I think this is brilliant on behalf of them. And I didn't even realize I needed them, but they clearly know what they're doing because I really needed those breaks at certain times. Some of the breaks were shorter than others. Some of the breaks were longer than others. But they definitely helped. Number 4, milestones keep me motivated. I have known this about myself. I love deadlines. But having milestones as an artist really means that you're setting small, meaningful goals along your creative journey that give you something to aim for and something to celebrate. So it helps you to stay motivated, focused, and encourages you along the way as you grow. So for me, this was finishing each assignment, posting and sharing my final artwork. Because side note, if you are part of the Milan Art Institute, then you are in a huge group chat, and they have an app that you can post your work, your outcomes, and then get some feedback from the coaches, which was amazing. And then also this meant to simply show up and paint every day. I set intentional studio time for my artwork, and I scheduled this out, and it really helped me to meet those milestones because I was intentional about my studio time. So for me, it was really fun to also see how far I had come, and that was a part of the milestone celebration that definitely helped me to keep going. Number 5, I realized that I live my mantra. So my mantra is to discover, play, and grow in my art practice. And this is what I often share on this channel. I approached each assignment in the same way. Everything didn't turn out perfectly, but I understood that in order to grow, I had to discover new techniques, play with new mediums, and grow lesson by lesson, even if it was hard. If you are interested in the Milan Art Institute yourself, I have included a link below and you can go check it out. You might find that you want an opportunity to discover, play, and grow yourself, and this might just be the thing. It's not for everyone. It definitely takes a lot of dedication and time and just intentional time working on your art practice. And if you're at that place where you do want to take it to the next level, like I was, then this might be perfect for you. I feel like the skill level of both painting and drawing was elevated in such a short amount of time. I mean, we're talking 3 months. My family noticed the shift and the change in my art. It was so fun. We just celebrated Easter and I had all the kids at the house. Okay, I say kids, they're all young adults. My daughter is 24, my son, and then I have 3 boys, 22, 20, and 18. And they were all here and I showed them the art that I have done in the last few months, and they were like, Mom, like, what's in the world? Okay, didn't think I was gonna I need to knock this off, get it together. But I think that I heard somewhere that like those raw emotions that stir up in you are good for you. It's healthy for you to like shed a tear and get like it just comes from a good place. So to be okay, to be able to share that with my kids was huge because they have seen me. They have seen me create art for years. For years. They've seen me draw and paint. They've seen me create children's books. They've seen me create these coloring books. They've seen me create different products and things like that. But to see their reaction was just priceless, and it was so fun, and it was a moment that I will never forget, just to be able to share that with them. Let me I need to get it together. Okay, got my tissues. All right, so I really didn't expect to get emotional at all with this, but here we are. And so my overarching goal this year is to rekindle that love for oil painting and continue to tap into my love for drawing, and to be able to combine both is amazing. So I'm working on my final project back here. I'll show some of the clips from me actually painting so that you can see that. I am not finished with this. I still have a few layers to put on. I am doing this as a mark making piece, which has taken a shift into a more still life, realistic painting. If you're not familiar with Milan Art Institute, it is a year-long program and there are 4 sections. And the first section is the drawing and the oil painting. And I am finishing that. So this is my final piece for that. Next, I will be discovering my voice. And I am equally excited about that. Actually, that's probably the main reason why I signed up. So just a little backstory. I've been an artist for years, and some would even say, you don't need this, like you're already an artist. But I would disagree. I think that even if you see yourself as advanced, and I don't even know if advanced is the right word, but like intermediate to advanced artist, or I've had my work in galleries before. I've had individual showings of my art. I'm trying to think. And of course, I've been doing my YouTube channel for quite some time. So like I've had my art out there, but it was time to pivot. It was time to bump it up a notch. And I really, really believe that this gave me that space. This gave me the time to invest in doing just that. So thank you so much for just being here, for just an open and honest chat on what I'm working on. I have tons of watercolor junk journal videos that I am planning on putting out. I have several coming up. Also, my watercolor art and devotions. I have several of those coming up. And then my oil painting. So it sounds super diverse and it sounds like there's a lot going on, but I have never been an artist that just focuses on one thing, meaning I'm not just a watercolor artist and I'm not just a mixed media artist, which if you are, that is amazing. Like if that's what you want to do. But my mind is like going constantly, like I've got this idea, I've got that idea, I've got this idea. And I really have to hone in and focus on like those top things that I want to do. So I want to work on oil mixed media on canvas, watercolor journals and watercolor junk journals, and pen and ink. I mean, you guys, I love pen and ink. It's so satisfying to do pen and ink. And so when I say that I am a watercolor, pen and ink, and mixed media artist, that is truly who I am to the core. If any of that resonates with you, then I just encourage you to subscribe and continue to watch this journey that I am taking you along with so that you can check it out as well. And my honest heart is to help those other artists out there discover, play, and grow in your art practice as well. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then be here for it, because that's what's coming. But anyway, thank you so much for just giving me a bit of your time today and listening to me rant on and on. And wasn't expecting to get emotional, but that happens sometimes. But anyway, thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.